Hello everyone. I'm back again with another video. I haven't made a video in quite a while just because I've been doing, first of all, Antichess World Championships, which actually went really well for me. I finished second after the Swiss rounds, and I am currently waiting on the play-in matches before we move on, which are elimination games, and I'm currently waiting on the results of those before we get into pool play, which is the second to last part of the championships. The winner of each pool will go on to the finals of the Antichess World Championships. Um, so I've been doing a lot of preparing for that, and I've also been very caught up in school because it is school time right now. I assume once my school calms down a little bit and/or we get to the holidays, I'll definitely be uploading more. But I thought I would bring this video today, and I'm gonna hope that even when I have school from now on, I'm gonna try to post at least once a week. So this week I'm counting down the top 10 active players right now. So this is players who have played within the last month or so, and we're going to be looking at, basically I had a bunch of top players. You can see on the you can see on the special thanks to, those are the people I got to help me make these lists, and um, and so this week we're counting down the top 10 active players, so players who have been consistent throughout the last month. And next week we're looking to count down the top 10 all time, which I suggest you subscribe and maybe turn on notifications, then you don't miss the next couple of videos like that. Because hopefully we're gonna try some interesting videos. But today we are counting, as I've said, we're counting down the top 10 active players that have played about more or less within the last month or so. Before we get to the actual top 10, I wanted to give a few shout outs to a couple names who are mentioned multiple times in the making of this list. And disclaimer, um, everyone, so people who are on the special thanks to, and including myself, will be on this list. This list was made up of, it was equally attributed to everyone, so everyone had just as equal say. So, say one person put themselves at number one, which no one on this list did, but for the people who did put themselves, like one vote isn't going to change anything. So if someone did place themselves higher than they probably should have, it's not going to make enough of a difference because there were seven people. So just take that into consideration, that all the people on here made their own lists, um, and I found that afterwards everyone's lists were more or less the same, and so I'm really excited to get into it. So shout out to some names that were in the mention, but didn't really did not make the top 10. Were Kex, Dragonissimo, TheBigNico, and I don't know how to pronounce it, and I've said it several times, but IiTheAruniI. Uh, Four players that were mentioned many times. Oh, and also F4 opening. Those five names were mentioned several times, but didn't end up making the top 10. So we're going to get right into the top 10. And at number 10, oh, and last thing before I continue on, each of these games will be a game that this person has played against me, me being yourself 10 10 10. Um, and so just because I thought it would be neat to explain just a short clip of the game and what makes them so talented. So at number 10, we're going to start off at number 10, build our way up. We have Firebatprime. And Firebatprime, I know, at least in the last year or two when I've been playing, has always been a very strong contender in a lot of fast time control arenas, and has always been a very tough competitor for me and for several other people. As you've seen, obviously anyone who makes this list is very talented. But at number 10 we have Firebatprime, and I just wanted to bring in this game. This game was played in fast time control, and he found the following. I think it's mate in 13 or mate in 14, which is really impressive. So if you want to try to find the move that Firebatprime found, or set of moves that Firebatprime found, and also because it was fast time control, I'm actually not going to give you that much time. So in this position, he started with d5, and after I took, he played c6, and after the take here, queen comes down, rook recaptures, um, and then he gives away the king, and after he gives away the king, he then gives away the rook, and then after giving away the pawn, special move here, at least in my mind, was this move, and this is where I was just like, oh shoot, there's nothing I can do. because after these sets of captures, there's just really nothing white can do. I was playing white in this position, and I ended up losing the game. Firebatprime ended up winning the game. So overall, just a really incredible player, and I highly suggest you check Firebatprime's games out, and also shout out to Firebatprime for help making this list. We're now going to be moving on to number 9. Number 9 is incredible long time control player. It's currently in the Antichess World Championships and is playing an elimination match soon. Another thing this player has done is has a massive encyclopedia of anti-chess endgames, which I also highly suggest you check out. Put a link in the description. This is ODMWND, and ODMWND is, in my opinion, one of the strongest long time control players there are. So in this position, this was in a longer time control game, and I had played this move, knight to e5, hoping that I could split the pawns up, rather get the king to be pinned here, or separate the king over here, and the bishop's just sort of stuck. But he played a move. If you want to try to find it, go ahead. He played a move where it was just game over. He played the only winning move, knight to d5, which you might have found it eventually, but I just thought it was really incredible with all the variations. Like, I could have taken this pawn, I could have taken this pawn, and he's just seemed to play it with such style and such class that there's nothing I could do. So I took this pawn, and after taking this pawn, I had to capture on b6, and then after he captured down here, I captured this bishop, and he ended up playing knight to d4. So after this, obviously, there's just no hope for me. He plays this, and then to finish it off in style, he played rook to g8. Just after this capture, he comes down here, captures, and obviously you can see now this is a win. So awesome stuff. ODMWND is definitely one of the top players on my list, and extremely strong player overall. Moving on to number 8, I would say, in my opinion, is probably the best time control player. This player will oftentimes, when I play against them, will adopt me or win 10 games in a row in time control, such as 0 plus 1, 1/2 plus 0, 1/4 plus 0. You guessed it, this is TheUnknownGuyReborn, or Tugger. And I just want to bring attention. This, after looking at it a while, this might not be so tough to see this move, but I think the more impressive thing is he saw this in a half plus O game in about 2 seconds, which I thought was really impressive. And again, Tugger has also been a very strong player for a while, and although extremely good in faster time control, he's also very good in longer time control. And he's also in the Antichess World Championships this year, and his play-in match / elimination match is actually against ODMWND. So that'll be a very, very interesting matchup. We have him at number 8 on this list, and ODMWND at number 9 after combining lists of 7 people. So that'll be very interesting. In this position, after 2 seconds in half plus O, Tugger saw king to d6, and then after my king takes and this bishop takes, I end up taking here on e7. He then played rook a8, and then after I captured here, brings the rook back over, very nice. And then after I captured here, he plays bishop to e2, and then king takes, and then he just pushes this pawn, and then it's game over. So Tugger, very, very strong player. I highly suggest anyone on this list to check out their games, but in particular, if you ever get a chance to watch him play very fast time control, it's really, really fun to watch or play against, to be honest. So I would check that out. And coming up to number 7 on the list is actually me, yourself 10-10-10. And I'm currently, as I said, playing in the Antichess World Cup this year. I won a couple nice matches. This comes in a match against this is my second game in my match against ODMWND, where I found this very late into the game. I think I only had 10 seconds left on my clock, so a lot of pressure. But if you can find it, after ODMWND played f5, I did find the move knight to f4, but that wasn't really the kicker. The kicker move is king to g3. And after the king goes to g3, pawn takes, rook takes. This pawn has to take again. And then now after I play rook to f7, queen takes, and then it's game over. So overall, I've definitely come a long way, and made my spot here at number 7. And as we're moving on, I also want to point out that players 5, 6, and 7, so me, this, and then the next 2 players, were all separated by very, very small margins, so very, very close people. tightly packed, in particular 6 and 7. So me and this next player, um, uh, currently known as DO1, were separated by in within standards. Basically, it was a tie, and we had to come up with a tiebreaker. So this player ended up pulling ahead. Incredibly strong player, really strong in long time control and short time control. This player has been around for a very long time and continuously plays at top level. Again, this isn't like an incredibly tough move to find, but I find it all the more impressive that they find it in under 10 seconds in fast time control. After playing this move knight to g6, it looks all over for white. It looks like every promotion doesn't work, but this player sees queen promotion, which attacks both this knight and this pawn. And from here, I think I just resigned because there's just nothing to do. So overall, an incredibly strong player, as I said, and very, 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 very competitive with everyone. Moving on to number 5, so the top half of the list. This is a game I played against GrohochetGrom, and GrohochetGrom is a very strong player. Last year made it to the finals, like the candidates match or the round robin play towards the end of the Antichess World Championships, and this year is ranked 5th after the pool play, and we'll play elimination match soon. Anyways, the thing that surprised me most about this player is just their end game and their middle game techniques. It's very, very, like, just overall a solid player in any time control. The thing that surprised me the most is in this position, if I'm black, I'm probably just resigning after I played a4. But there's actually a really, really nice set of moves that GrohochetGrom finds, and that because it's queen takes f2. I probably would have resigned as black, as I would have said. But in this case, it doesn't work out because this rook's attacking this pawn, this queen's attacking both these pieces. So it ends up working out that it is actually a forced mate. And I forget what I played knight e2 here, but it's just all over. There's nothing to be done here. So rook takes, and then queen takes g2, rook takes g2, g2. GrohochetGrom ended up winning this game. So overall, a really, really strong player, as I've said, and I highly suggest you checking out their games. And now we're moving on to the top 4 on our list. Number 4 has been a player that has been around for an incredibly long period of time, and in my opinion, one of the someone that you might be likely to see in a top 10 all-time list. Not 100%, but a very, very strong player overall. This is PepsiNGaming, and this player is incredibly strong in all time controls, from 0+1 all the way to 5+5 or even longer. This player is incredibly strong. So if you can find uh, this move, that's really, really well done. But the thing that surprised me about this move the most is PepsiNGaming found this against me in a 0+1 game. So if you ended up finding the move while I was talking, if you found rook promotion, you would be correct. Rook promotion wins the game. I played king d6. He took. Oh wait, shoot! I did not play king d6. Oh yeah, I did play king d6, but that wasn't king d6. Rook takes, and then I moved my king back. I started advancing my pawn, but it was just too late. The rook, there was nothing that I could have done, and PepsiNGaming just spotted in a brilliant tactic. In 0+1, there's nothing I can do now. Every promotion loses. Knight promotion loses to the king moving there. Bishop promotion just loses because the king's there, and basically everything loses. So PepsiNGaming, incredibly strong player. Also check out PepsiNGaming's Bug House and Crazy House playing. It's really impressive that he can play at such a high level in so many different variants. Moving on to the top 3, these top 3 were all separated by not very much, so they're all incredibly strong. Number 3 on this list, we have Azoha. Azoha is an amazing player, particularly in longer time control. Finished 4th in the Antichess World Championships, first sort of Swiss stage. And the thing that surprised me most about this player is they're just excellent at every single portion of the game. This is a game that I had against Azoha. Azoha is black, I'm white, and I end up pushing this pawn, and me being me, I probably just would have moved my my queen out of the way, or sorry, or something like my knight or my queen to random spot, and just really just hope that I can see something. But Azoha does this with just plays this so quickly and so efficiently. It's really surprising. Zohra started by moving, I think it was queen h2. Yep, queen h2, and after the pawn goes here, I now only have one more pawn that I can advance, so fully taking advantage of the fact that I only have one pawn left. Just moves the queen nicely again after I take, gives up the queen, sorry. and after it gives up the queen, just moves the knight to h6, and then I have to push the pawn, and after the rook comes over to f8, obviously I have to capture. I end up promoting knight here, but just a very easy win for Zohra, very quick and efficient. Moves the knight back, I take on h7. After this, there's nothing I can do. So Zohra, incredibly strong player. If you ever get the chance to watch a World Championship match or long time control, I highly suggest it. Number two that we have on this list is actually fairly recent to the game, fairly new to the game. Doesn't play a ton of fast time control, but plays a lot of long time control and succeeds very, very well in it. This is none other than Penny7, and Penny is a very, very strong tactics player and sees a lot of things that a lot of people don't see. In this case, Penny found this whole mating sequence in 0+3 against me, which I just found really amazing, even for a long time control player. Can still hold their own in a fast time control. So in this case, start off with b4, and after a takes, c takes, Penny plays queen a4, and after the rook comes down, without even thinking, immediately plays queen h8, and this is actually winning no matter what. But the other thing that surprised me, Penny 7 just knew every single most efficient move off the top of their head. So after all these series of captures, which by both sides are the strongest moves recommended by the engine, um, Penny 7 eventually gets into a position where I'm basically only capturing his final pawns left, and then after these set of captures, obviously I have to advance my this final. Penny advances the final pawn, and I have to capture with my bishop. So overall, an incredibly strong player in long time control, and very excited to see how this player progresses. And I'm sure most of you probably guessed it by now. Number one top player in the last month of December 2020 is none other than Change Opening or Euro Professional. It is Flo, and Flo is just an amazing player from the opening to the end game in fast time control and long time control. Currently leading the Antichess World Championships after one round, only having lost one game and winning all 7 other games, which I find really astonishing. And Flo just seems to win almost every game he plays. In this game's in a game against me, finding an incredible intermediate move. So after finding queen takes, rook takes, plays bishop to a5, which seems really out of the ordinary, but it's just a very, very nice tactical move, because after I take here, obviously my rook has to take somewhere else, and when I take here, Flo takes right here, so my rook is gonna have, when my rook recaptures, or when my rook captures something, he can just immediately recapture, and then I'm gonna have to capture here with my rook on the open file, and it's game over for me. So in this case, I captured on g1, and after the rook recaptures, now my rook captures here, has to end up on the open file. After captures, it's just game over. He can play rook b1, and then it's game over. So overall, extremely well deserved. Flo is definitely, in my opinion, the strongest player right now, and at this time in the game, Flo does so much for the game, and spends so much time with the International Antichess Federation, and now there's a website which I'll also put in the description, along with AutumnWind's endgame sort of table base. So as you've seen throughout this top 10 list of current players, sort of within October, November, December of 2020, all 10 of these players are incredibly strong, and I highly recommend, if you want to learn more about the game, ask one of these 10 players, watch these 10 players, and really, you can really learn a lot from all of these 10 players. So thank you so much for watching. Please stay tuned, because there will be lots of videos coming out in the near future, and next week we'll have the top 10 anti-chess players of all time. So I highly recommend you sticking around to watch that, and otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.